The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
Greetings to you all. I'm Shashina Roll. As always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping news, Prime Minister of the Right Honorable Perry Christie is expected on Grand Bahama for the official opening of the Island Outsourcers Call Center here in Freeport. Today, the president of the company addressed members of the business community, projecting major benefits and growth for the outsourcing sector here on Grand Bahama. Megan Shepard has our top story.
Guest speaker at the Chamber of Commerce monthly meeting, President and CEO of Island Outsourcers, Yoni Epstein, sharing why Grand Bahama was the perfect location to open a new call center. Epstein says that the island is in a perfect location, offering easy access to and from the United States, as well as offering some of the best technology in the world.
When you look at the Grand Bahama as an option, you look at cultural affinity. Most Bahamians have family abroad, or have been to school abroad, or have been to the U.S. With Cable Bahamas, you have, U.S. television. So that cultural affinity is there. Those of you who have ever called a call center and spoken to somebody in India, that's one of the biggest negatives of the call center industry, because you're not talking to John, but he's telling you his name is John and he lives in Buffalo. But really his name is some Indian name and he's in Mumbai. But the advent of technology, you can be anywhere in the world and provide these services.
Epstein says that the plan for the company is to be the biggest in the region. He says that in the United States, the outsourcing sector is a $2 trillion industry, while in Jamaica alone, it is a $160 million business. He says employees undergo intense training to ensure the efficiency, but there is still more to be done.
The next thing that we have to look at as a company is how are we going to provide services in Spanish. A lot of clients that we currently have and prospective clients that we're looking at, they want a percentage of their work done in Spanish. So maybe we have to go and jump on a plane and set up a site in Latin America or something like that. But that's something that we have to look into in 2014 to 2015, because as you want to be a global business as well as a global competitor, you have to ensure that you're providing services in all languages that are respective for this side of the world.
Epstein also outlines his plans for expansion here on Grand Bahama.
We've already started looking at new space, trying to add on another 5,000 square feet to our existing facility, because it's all about growth. We promised our first phase would be 100 employees. We're just about 3/4 the way there. Excuse me. Our second phase would be to take it to 300 employees. And our third phase, which I would say is probably, a 3-year goal, would be to get it to 600 employees.
Epstein says he is confident that a true outsourcing sector can and will be developed right here on Grand Bahama. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
Well, the House of Assembly in session today. It's the first sitting for the new year. Members debated a number of bills, including a bill that will help to promote e-government and establish a central data system in the country. It's the Bahamas Spatial Data Infrastructure Bill that will allow for the creation of the Information Center as part of the Department of Government. During the afternoon session, Marco City MP Greg Moss addressed a number of issues in what some call a no-holds-barred speech. Noting that he is passionate about Grand Bahama, Moss focused on the future of Grand Bahama, saying there is no way to fix the Bahamas without fixing Grand Bahama.
There's no way to fix the Bahamas without fixing Grand Bahama. I will never stop saying that. There's absolutely no way. If you want to do anything in Nassau, you need to build infrastructure here, you need to build roads here, you need to build schools here, you need to build hospitals. You can do the same thing in Grand Bahama. You don't have to build anything. Just bring the business, and we will take the people. It's a very simple proposition. There's no other country I know will squander an entire island, an entire population, entire economy the way we're squandering Grand Bahama. Bring the debate. I'm tired of sitting here and talking about nonsense. Absolute nonsense, when serious issues remain to be discussed.
Well, the Marco City MP also addressed the pending debate about the extension of the Hawksbill Creek Agreement in 2015. He calls it a tax break for non-Bahamians.
I say that as a lawyer of 20-something years standing, and I dare anyone to contradict me on that. And I do not sense in giving a tax break to foreigners for an island that doesn't have money to develop its own infrastructure. I don't see any sense. And I will say it again, this discussion cannot be a discussion that's being had behind closed doors. There are 5 elected MPs for Grand Bahama. At the end of the day, my birth certificate doesn't say PLP or FNM or DNA, it says Bahamian. My passport doesn't say PLP, DNA, or FNM, it says Bahamian. My heart says PLP, because that's the party that raises people up as I understand it. Let's do the job we were called to do.
In other news, Kenyatta Lewis, a man convicted of the attempted rape of a 54-year-old woman, will be back in court tomorrow for sentencing. Late last year, a 7-woman, 2-man jury yesterday found the 38-year-old Freeport man guilty of the offense. The victim told the court that she was on her way to prayer meeting on the morning in question and accepted a ride from Lewis, who ended up taking her through a shortcut and attempted to rape her. Lewis is facing anywhere from 15 years to life in prison. He will be sentenced tomorrow by Senior Justice Hartman Longley following a probation report. Also in news this evening, a presidential candidate in the upcoming Grand Bahama Christian Council elections today laid out his objectives, which he says will carry the body to the next level. Rather than sell a dream to the Christian community, Pastor Keith Meadows says if elected on January 21st, he and his team will take a zero-tolerance approach to issues plaguing our nation, such as crime and joblessness. Our Charisma Robinson has this story.
It's not about playing politics. It's about ensuring that the mandate of the Grand Bahama Christian Council is carried out to the fullest extent. Pastor Keith Meadows says it's time for a visionary to take the helm of the body, particularly at a time when issues such as crime and joblessness are plaguing our nation.
There is no better time for government and the church to work together than now. Another one of my objectives I seek to achieve for the Grand Bahama Christian Council as president is to work with all churches from East End to West End for moral reconstruction on issues of justice, reconciliation, integrity of creation, and eradication of poverty.
January 21st is election day for the council on Grand Bahama, and Meadows believes those elected for the 13 positions available will be hand-picked by God. He and Pastor Eddie Victor will be going up against incumbent President Bishop Arnold Pinder, who is running for a 3rd term. Pastor Sidney McIntosh and Apostle Brian Darius are vying for 1st and 2nd vice president.
I have a passion for the further development and growth of this council. And if I'm elected on the 21st of January as president, I promise to do my endeavor best with God's help to ensure the legacy of the council continue.
Pastor Meadows and his team say on day 1 they will be ready to take the council to the next level.
These objectives that he has, I want to play a major role. I think that these are quite reachable objectives.
Even though these are my vision and my objectives, because of the team that I have in mind to assemble, I believe that we would be able to carry these objectives out quite easily.
Now elections will be held at the Forster B. Pestina Center at 7 p.m. Charisma Robinson, ZNS Network News.
Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition continues right after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. In 2 days, the Bahamas will officially celebrate Majority Rule Day. On January 10, 1967, the will of the majority of Bahamians was freely expressed in a general election. History records that it was not an easy struggle, and tonight one of the men involved reflects on the significance of this day. He calls it the singular most important accomplishment in the country's history that signifies the attainment of free and democratic expression. As one of the youngest members during the struggle, 46 years later, Maurice Moore reflects on the events leading up to majority rule.
We came out of a period where the system, the electoral system, was so gerrymandered that it made it impossible under that system for the majority of the Bahamian people to ever get majority rule. And so it was the culmination of years of hard work.
Moore was the candidate for Grand Bahama at the time. He says he was confident of a win. However, the UBP party called a swift election. He says up to the year 1966, his party still wasn't quite ready for elections.
I think the UBP made a grave error. They said, well, you know what, we're going to call a quick election on them while they're not prepared. But little did they know, they were less prepared than we were. The people were prepared. And those people, they voted the right way. And so the results of the January 10th election was a surprise to both sides.
In the end, Moore won his seat, and ultimately the Progressive Liberal Party won the election and formed the government. Moore says, despite the struggle, the promise has not yet been fully realized.
I am confident that the young professional Bahamians see life different. You've got some odd ones where you call them rabbit PLP or rabbit FNM. You've got some of those, but fundamentally, the majority of the young professionals sees life the way it ought to be. And that is the rights, the equal rights of each citizen in their country.
The countdown is on to the first official national observance of a public holiday in honor of Majority Rule Day. A press conference was held today at the Foster B. Pestina Center to announce the official events. As a prelude to the January 10th celebrations, public schools throughout the island will stage special events to reflect on this moment in Bahamian history. Deputy Director of Education Sandra Edgecombe says the stories of this life-changing moment and those who were a part of the struggle to attain majority rule must be told to our nation's youth.
This celebration of majority rule, yes, our children must know the story, and the story must be told by the students. And so even though we're starting out on a small scale tomorrow in all of our schools, there will be special assemblies where the children will hear and they will participate in those assemblies.
And the Secretary in the Ministry for Grand Bahama, Dr. Cecil Thompson, says a grand event is planned for Pioneers Way, Freeport, and he is calling on all residents to join in the celebrations this coming Friday.
Participating in the parade will be the uniform youth groups, students from the various schools in Grand Bahama in uniform and with their banners. We hope we get members of the unions, because the unions were not on the sidelines when this happened. We expect those bleachers that could see 2,000 people will be filled. That's what we're expecting. And there will be a spectacular ceremony there.
Well, the Grand Majority Rule Day parade and celebrations get underway this Friday, beginning at 12 noon. Parishioners of St. Mary Magdalene Anglican Church in West End preparing for a special Majority Rule Gala event under the stars on the grounds of the Old Bahama Bay Resort this coming Friday. Church Rector Father Ian Claridge says the event comes as the country pauses to remember a significant moment in its history.
I would like to take this effort to congratulate the government for recognizing this milestone in our nation. The majority rule was achieved, yes, under the Progressive Liberal Party, but it was the coming together, the uniting of all Bahamians when we took a stake in our destiny. The Progressive Liberal Party, along with the Labour Party and a member of the United Bahamian Party, was who made majority possible. And I pray that we, as Bahamians, recognize that we need each other and must work together for anything that is worthwhile to be accomplished.
He says the event under the theme Unity in Diversity is designed to further advance the mission of the church in the West End community.
As we look to this event and celebrate the commemorative Majority Rule Day, we recognize that some may question, why have such a gala event? Why charge what you're doing when there are persons out there who are hurting, persons out there who we are well aware of cannot afford to attend such an event at a cost of $100 a plate. But when we look at this, we are mindful that the church has a role to play in society, and those same persons who are unable to eat are the ones who knock at the church door, are the ones who come for us for support. And so we seek to find a way to redistribute what is given to us, our God-given mandate to feed the poor and clothe the hungry through events such as this.
Now get this, the Anglican priest, a former veteran chef, says he will play a major role in the overall success of this upcoming event by preparing the meals for the gala affair. Stay with us. Ricardo Lightborn joins us next for a check on sports.
Everybody, it's Sports Time. I'm Ricardo Lightborn. This one tonight goes out to the folks down there in Andros. We all love you up here in Grand Bahama. The Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association closed out its 2013 year on a high note and wants to continue riding it high into 2014. GBASA President Hansel Corley is feeling pretty good about himself in January. The Grand Bahama Amateur Softball Association Slow Pitch Division was competitive and entertaining for the fans that took in the games. The Kelly's Pace Setters took on the Presto Recyclers for the co-ed title, and the Pace Setters winning it all. GBSA President Hansel Corley says 2013 was a super year, especially in the slow pitch division, and that was from start of the first pitch until the last. The executive team made a big difference, and the operational aspect of the league, the product, he says, is pretty good on the field.
The families always have problems, but you always overcome those problems and move on. We had some family problems. When I said family problems, I'm talking about executive, but we could always sit and talk it over and move forward and get the ball rolling. And I could guarantee you, in 2014, this year, is the ball going to be rolling. And Ricardo, we have to start early in 2014 because the amount of teams that we had in 2013 and what I was told that's going to happen in 2014, we have to start at least by the middle of April.
Given the number of teams interested in playing slow pitch softball, expansion to the division is evident. There will also be reward at the end of the year for teams as far as men and co-ed division. The ladies division is also being rumored.
I do have something planned for the slow pitch people because they don't go nowhere. But in 2014, the champion's going to go someplace. Okay, so all I want to say to them, come out and enjoy yourself in 2014. You're going to go someplace this year.
Softball is a game for everyone. Shelley Mosley says it best. You're as young as you feel, and she loves the excitement. The results, that's another story. Well, folks, the Grand Bahama Volleyball Association into its championship round at the YMCA. The Nesbitt Reynolds, they put away the President All-Stars in Ladies Showdown 25-17, 25-23, and 25-16. In the Men's Showdown, the Tennis Spikers defeated the Grand Bahama Shipyard Sharks 12-25, 25-27, 25-20, 25-18, and 15-13. They will return to the court, and that's going to be on Thursday at the YMCA. Well, the Commonwealth American Football League canceled all of its games for this weekend in respect for the late Winston Gus Cooper of the Valley Boys, who will be laid to rest this weekend. You see, the Igmara Crushers and the Rebound Falcons are chopping at the bit to get back into the trenches. The Igmara Crushers' 12-6 win over the Rebound Boys Club Falcons was a bittersweet one for the Crushers. The Crushers got a number of breaks on both sides of the football and were able to also cash in on the Falcons' mistakes. Coach Levante Parker was happy with the win. Execution was something that needs some work, especially now that the Crushers will be heading south for the playoffs.
When it comes to football, this is our sport down in 8 Mile, #1 sport, playing football. And to come out here on the weekend and play football and then, you know, go into Nassau this week to go match up with the pros, it was a good game for us.
The Rebound Falcons is a young ball club, and Coach Wayne Forbes said it after the game. The Crushers got away, and they better enjoy it.
I had him scared. He thought at one point I was going to beat him. And I showed them, my guys, they little out of shape, but they play both ways, 3 ways if you want to put it, special teams, defense, and offense. And I appeal to anybody who want to learn football from Wayne Forbes, because I know a little, come down to the Hunters and come to a real football team and learn football, because we need guys. Everybody wants to jump on one team because they want to be a winner. But come and learn and come from the bottom up and win football games.
Commonwealth American Football League is a must-take in on Saturdays at the Grand Bahama Sports Complex. Better get there quick because the playoffs are right around the corner. And we got to say happy birthday to Annie Curtis, who's celebrating today. I cannot tell you how old she is, but she's a very, very young lady. Congratulations to her. That's a look at sports tonight.